arhantanam. Om Rim Namo Siddhanam. Om Rim Namo Ayaniyanam. Om Rim Namo Uvachayanam. Om Rim Namo Loe Sabasahunam. ऐसो पंचनमोकारो सव्यपावपणासनो मंगलाणं च सव्येसे परमं हवै मंगलम् परमं हवै मंगलम्. We'll recite Om Rishabhai Namaha. Om Rishabhaya 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 Namaha. Today we will recite the slok number 19 and 20. These two sloks are related to the illumination of knowledge. So the first slok is Bhaktambar 19 to slok. So first we will do the pronunciation. Kim, Kim, Sarvarishu, Kim, Sarvarishu, Sashinanni, Sashinanni, Kim, Sarvarishu, Sashinanni, Vivas, Vivas, Vatava, Vatava, Kim, Sarva, Rishu, Sashinanni, Vivas, Vatava, Yushmanmu, Yushmanmu, Khendu, Khendu, Yushmanmu, Khendu, Dalitesu, Dalitesu, Yushmanmu, Khendu, Dalitesu, Tamassu, Tamassu, Natha, Natha, Yushmanmu, Khendu, Dalitesu, Tamassu, Natha, Kim, Sarvarishu, Sashinanni, Vivasvatava, Yush, Manmukhendu, Dalitesu, Tamasu, Natha, Nishpanna, Nishpanna, Shali, Vana, Nishpanna, Shali, Vana, Shalini, Shalini, Nispanna, Shali, Vana, Shalini, Jiva Loke, Jiva Loke, Karyam, Karyam, Kiyat, Kiyat, Jaladharai, Jaladharai, Jalabhara, Jalabhara, Namrahi. The whole slok we will recite. Kim, Sarvarishu, Sashinanni, Vivasvatava, Yush, Manmukhendu Daliteshu Tamassu Nath Nishpanna Shali Vanishalini Jeevaloke Karyam Kiyat Jaladharai Jalabhari Namrahi. Again we will recite this sloka. Kim Sarvarishu Sashinani Vivasvatava Yushman Mukhendu Daliteshu Tamassunatha Nishpanna Shali Vanishalini Jeevaloke Karyam Kiyat Jaladharai Jalabhara Namrai. Now we will sing together the whole slok, the 90th slok. Kim sarvarishu sashinanni vivasmatava Yushman mukhendu daliteshu tamasunatha Nispanna shali vanishalini jeevaloke Karyam kiyacchaladharai Jalebhare namrai. So in this 90th slok, what Acharya Manitung is saying? Acharya Manitung is saying, O Lord of the universe, where is the need of the sun during the day and the moon during the night? Because we all know that the sun rises in the day and the moon rises in the night. But Acharya Manitung is saying, where is the need of the sun during the day and the moon during the night? When your ever radiant face sweeps away the darkness of the world. Indeed, once the crop is ripe, what is the need of the thundering, rain-bearing clouds? So in this way, Acharya Manitung is comparing to Lord Rishabh from the day moon, from the day sun and the night moon. So here in the okay, this is the slok. The meaning of this slok here it is given that Acharya Manitung explained this one, and now we'll recite on one slok. Sarvarishu. Sarvarishu means at night. Sashinaniva, moon and Ahini, in the day. In the day, Vivasvatava, by the sun. Kim, what is the need of? What is the need of the sun during the day? And what is the need of moon during the night? Jeevaloke, in the world. Shalivana, in the fields. Nispanna Shali, ripened grain. By water, Namrahi, full of Jaladharair, in the world. Kiyach, what? Karyam, the need of. So here Acharya Manitung is saying, what is the need of the thundering clouds, the thundering rain-bearing clouds, when the crops are already ripened? So here Acharya Manitung is saying this one. In this slok, he gave the meaning of this one. Here you can see the illustration. The sun and the moon lose their importance before the face of the jinn, before the face of Tirthankar, Lord Rishabh, that is much more resplendent. So here it is said that, just a minute. So here The meaning is said, the illustration is given that the sun and the moon lose their importance before the face of the jinn that is much more resplendent. After the crop is ripe, thundering clouds lose their utility. So, what here Acharya Manitung is saying, O Lord, what is the need of the sun during the day and the moon during the night? Acharya Manitung attempted to compare Lord Rishabh with various symbolic examples of light but could not find an appropriate example. When he found no parallel in his comparison, he engrossed himself in bhakti. You see, there are a lot of the people who engrossed themselves in bhakti, rest, and reach a level of immersed devotion. At this highest level of devotion, he perceives only the Lord and no one else. If someone is loving to some other person very a lot, he will only see that person, he will not see what's happening other side. In the same way, here Acharya Manitung is also saying, Lord, I can see only you, and else I cannot see anyone else. So, what is devotion? At this stage, a thought arose in Acharya Manitung's mind. What is the need of the moon at night and the sun during the day? When the divine face of the Lord is eliminating darkness, then why are these external sources of light needed? The illumination of the sun and the moon has no comparison to the glory of your face. Following slok, 90th slok, presents the feeling of devotion that touches the heart. If someone asks you, which is the slok which denotes the devotion? So you can say 19th slok, it shows that how much devotion we can show to the Lord Rishabh. So it is said that this is an impractical question. Is there any alternative to the sun or the moon? How will the world function without them? Because the world cannot live one day also without the sun and without the moon. The beauty of the night rests on the moon, and the sun illuminates the world during the day. Acharya Manitung refuses to accept this fact as his devotion has changed his perspective of the world. His devotion has changed its nature. Everything has changed in Lord Manitung's word. There are different levels of understanding in people. Some kids will understand different thing. The other kids will understand different thing. Adult will understand different thing. So here Acharya Manitung is also saying there are different levels of understanding in people. We cannot justify any perspective without comprehending its level. We have to decide the perspective or context on the basis of a statement is made. When a devotee is at the highest level of devotion and utters something, it should not be wasted. No other female can speak the way Meera spoke. Every one of you know the name of Meerabai, who was very strong in her devotion. Some people even have given her the we can say Jehad. Then also poison has given her the poison. That poison also become the good liquid. So why? Because of her devotion. So a common man cannot say that which has been said by Surdas or Tulsidas, who was known as the great example of devotion. So the state of that highest level of devotion is a divine state. The Meera's example come. Once Meera traveled to Brij Bhumi. I think so all of you have heard the name of Meerabai. If not, today you can, Lord Krishna's great devotee she was. So once Meera traveled to Brij Bhumi to visit a world-renowned saint, Jiva Swami. Jiva Swami had taken a vow not to meet any female. Meera went to his residence and asked for a meeting with him. But in When Meera then sent him a message, I came here thinking that only gopis, it means that spiritually enlightened beings not bound by gender, reside in Brij Bhumi. But now I realize that Brij is also home to people other than gopis. Comprehending the meaning hidden in her statement, Jiva Swami immediately came out to meet her. The history depicts how all divine devotees attain a unique level of devotion. So, whenever we are also reciting Bhaktambar Stotra or whenever we are listening Bhaktambar Stotra, what we have to do? Our devotion must be unique level of devotion. Then only the person can become a great devotee. Being engrossed in devotion, whatever is said by them may not be understood by a common man, because common man uses the logic more. If I asked you that Lord Rishabh has done 12 hours, 12 months, he has not eaten anything, what's the logic behind? There is also a logic, but in each question there is a logic. But here Acharya Manitung is saying, if the person is full of devotion, he will not ask any logic. Expression of prominent devotees are being interpreted in multiple ways. It can be daunting for a common man to capture their perspective and relate to it. When a devotee's minds find its peace and illumination in their object of devotion, they cannot fathom the existence of peace and light anywhere else, because they will find the peace and light in their Lord only. So for Acharya Manitu, his light, beauty, peace, and radiance came from the Lord Rishabh. So at this level of devotion, he admits, I don't need anybody else other than you, Lord. For example, now if anyone has given you video game, if someone is playing video game and someone will say, come take the lunch, you are hungry also, what you will say? No, I will play later on, I will not play now. No, so I will not take the lunch now, but I will play first. You are fully engrossed in that video game or in the laptop or in mobile game, anything, fully engrossed. In the same way, our devotion must be what kind of? Our devotion must be that type of, that we are fully engrossed whatever we are doing. So there is a well-known example about Hanuman, the great devotee of Lord Ram. Hanuman perceived and saw his Lord in everything. He once broke open every bead from the necklace gifted to him by Sita to search for the image of his Lord. So Sita gave him beautiful necklace. He asked, is there my Lord is in each bead? He searched and searched. He didn't got anything. So he break all the beads and went away from there. So the devotion must be very strong in each and everything. We should find the Lord Rishabh in ourselves. So here it is said that the flow of divine thoughts and its expressions occur only at the highest level of devotion. So with extreme devotion and faith, a devotee sees only his God in everything and everywhere. Some people say God is everywhere. Okay, God is everywhere. Which God is everywhere? When we are full of devotion, that God is only everywhere, because Jainism does not believe in any Hindu gods. Jainism believe only in the Tirthankar who has gone to the mosque, who will never come back again. They are only the gods for the Jainism. So nothing else is visible to him. He who has the faith and has mastered detachment loses interest in everything else. So, flow of divine thoughts and its expressions occurs only at the highest level of devotion. So, therefore, whatever is said by Acharya Manitum is neither an act of ignoring other beings. We should not ignore what Acharya Manitum has said. We should just think that what a beautiful thought Acharya Manitum has given to us, that how much we can become devotee to others. So Acharya Manito presented his thoughts beautifully and clarifies his statement. He says, I am not saying that there is no need of the sun and the moon. Just they are important for the world, but not as much for me. They are important for the world, sun and the moon. Everything is important for the world. But for me, what is important? For me, Lord, you are only important because your beauty, your peaceness, everything is uncomparable from the um, from the moon and the sun. So when a seed is sown, it requires water or rain. But will the water be required even after the crops are ready for harvesting? It said no. Dark and gloomy clouds are welcomed during the monsoon seasons, but they are not welcomed in the spring season. Why is that? Because in those months they do not bear any results. When anything undesired is resolved, it affects our mood. Things that have no utility are undesirable. So Acharya Manitung says, after the crops of rice are ready for harvest, there is no need of water. Filled with water-filled clouds, I have attained illumination and inner peace. And the most important thing is that I have found the Lord who bestows illumination and inner peace. So, in the whole context, if we see, if we reflect upon the words said by Acharya Manatum, we will find that he did not state anything wrong or impractical. Being in a divine state, he just asserted that he did not need anything else. So, one of the deity, as I said, Hanuman was embracing Lord Ram. So the devotion of Hanuman is a powerful. It said that he's a very powerful man and his devotion is also very powerful. As the story goes on, Hanuman, son of a monkey, and Vayu, the lord of the winds, his dad was lord of the wind, had an impressive skill as a boy who could lift the hills and toss them around however he pleased. One day Hanuman saw the sun. He thought it was a piece of fruit, so he decided he would like to eat it. When Hanuman put the sun in his mouth, other gods and goddesses were concerned. They pleaded with Hanuman to spit out the sun and to save the world from darkness. The ability to move the earth and swallow the sun may be impressive, but Hanuman's real power was his devotion to Lord Ram. He would do things like fly to the Himalayas to get herbs to cure his master's battle wounds. Hanuman is considered a healer because he was always at Rama's side, ready to come to his aid. Hanuman is lauded for his strength, perseverance, and above all his devotion. So it's interesting to note that his beloved figure from Hinduism point, if we say that he was a good man, he was a good devotee of Lord Ram. So the devotion of Hanuman teaches us that service is not low or high. It's the source of power that how much we are devoted to anyone. So the lesson for us is connection with a higher power gives us strength. So here Acharya Manitung is saying that we should have a good connection between the Lord Rishabh and to the person who is praising to the Lord. So here the person is Acharya Manitu and the Lord is Lord Rishabh or Initiator. So in this way, we must have the higher powers of connection. Again, the benefits of this one, if we see the 19th sloks, what's the benefits of this slok? So it is said, the benefit of this slok is removes the darkness and sins from the life. So a lot of the people, they don't feel good anytime. Their mood is always not good and sometimes their mood fluctuates also. So it's the best thing that if the mood is fluctuating a lot, what can the people do? They can recite this 19th slok and get good friends. Say Lord Mahavira has said that We should always try to get the good friends. So if you are having the friends, you can do the good friends. Otherwise, if you don't have the friends, what you can do? Find the good friends, but don't live with the bad friends. So here the story is there. See, Krishna and Sudama. Friendship is known to all. Every one of you know that Krishna and Sudama were the good friends. And Sudama was a poor Brahmin man. He did not even have enough money to feed his children. Once, with a tearful eyes, his wife told him, "It does not matter if we are hungry, but we should at least be able to feed the little children enough." On hearing this, Sudama felt very hurt and said, "What can be done? We can ask for favors from anybody." Sudama's wife replied, "You talk of Krishna so often. You have been saying that you have a deep bond of friendship with him. He is the king of Dwarka. So why don't you go to him? There won't be any need for ask for anything there." Sudama found wisdom in the words of his wife. He decided to go to Dwarka and said, "I will definitely go to Krishna, but what should I take along for his children?" Sudama's wife borrowed some rice snakes from their neighbor. She bound the food in a piece of torn cloth, and Sudama took the bundle and left for Dwarka. On seeing Dwarka, Sudama was amazed. The entire town was built with gold, and the people were very well off. He asked for directions for Krishna's palace and finally reached there. On seeing Sudama, who looked like a hermit, the palace guards asked, "Why have you come here?" Sudama answered, "I want to meet Krishna, who is my friend. Go and tell him that Sudama has come to meet you." The guard smiled on seeing Sudama's attire. He hesitantly went and informed Krishna of Sudama's arrival. On hearing Sudama's name, Krishna immediately stood up and ran to meet him. Everyone looked on his wonder. Upon seeing such a great king running barefooted to meet his poor friend, Krishna took Sudama into the palace. They recalled their childhood days and at the Sandipani schools where they were reading and learning something. Seeing Krishna's wealth, Sudama felt ashamed of the rice snakes that he had brought and tried to hide the bundle, but Krishna snatched it from him. While enjoying the snake, Krishna said, "I have never tasted such sweetness in anything else." Later, they sat to have their meal, which was served in the gold plates. Sudama felt sad as he remembered his hungry children at home. He stayed at the palace for 2 days, but he could not prepare himself to ask Krishna for any favor. On the third day, he got ready to back home. Krishna embraced Sudama and escorted him, and he bid him the farewell. On the way back, Sudama wondered, "What shall I say to my wife? Ask me what I have brought back." As Sudama approached the home, you see what surprise happened. He could not find his hut. His wife came out from a magnificent palace and dressed in a elegant clothes. She told Sudama, "Look at Krishna's might. We have been rid of our poverty. Krishna has ended all our miseries." Sudama recollected Krishna's pure love and his eyes welled up with tears of joy. So the moral of the story is what? So did you see how pure was the friendship of Krishna and Sudama? Our friendship must also be like that. What? Our friendship must also be very pure with each other. So you are a small kids now, but when you will become adult, you will get a lot of the people in the world. We should try to make the friendship very purer and purer and with full devotion. You see, there was a there Sudama was very devoted to the Lord Krishna. So if we are, there is no richness, no poverty, no low status, no high status, nothing was there, but only there was a devotion and purity. So if we are having the purity and devotion, then we can get success in this life. So yet in this 19th slok, Acharya Manitung has said that if you want to get the benefits from this slok, what you can do, remove the darkness and sins from life, and you can get the good friends. Now our next slok comes, Bhaktambar's 20th slok. Jnanam Jnanam Yatha Yatha Jnanam Yatha Tvai Tvai Jnanam Yatha Tvai Vibhati Vibhati Kritavikasham Jnanam Yatha Tvai Vibhati Kritavikasham Nevam 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 Tatha Tatha Hariharadishu Hariharadishu Nayakeshu Nayakeshu Jnanam Yatha Tvai Vivati Kritavikasham Nevam Tatha Hariharadishu Nayakeshu Tejaha Tejaha Spuran Manishu Spuran Manishu Tejaha Spuran Manishu Yati Yatha Yati Yatha Mahatvam Tejaha Spuran Manishu Yati Yatha Mahatvam Jnanam Yatha Tvai Vivati Kritavikasham Nevam Tatha Hariharadishu Nayakeshu Tejaha Spuran Manishu Yati Yatha Mahatvam Nevam Nevam Tu Kacha Kacha Shakale Shakale Kirana Kulaipi Kirana Kulaipi Nevam Tu Kacha Shakale Kirana Kulaipi. The whole slok. Jnanam Yatha Tvai Vibhati Kritavikasham Devam Tatha Hariharadishu Nayakeshu Tejaha Spuran Manisu Yati Yatha Mahatvam Nevam Tukach Shakale Kirana Kulaipi. So in this 20th slok, Acharya Manitung is saying, O Lord, the way knowledge evokes by taking shelter in you, it is not possible in any other deity such as Hari. Hari in the world. Hari means Krishna. The luster and the light of priceless gems can be hardly seen in glass pieces glittering in the beam of sunlight. So the whole slok now we will sing. Jnanam Yatha Tvai Vibhati Kritavikasham Nevam Tatha Harihara Dishnayakeshu Tejaha Spuran Manishu Yati Yatha Mahatvam Nevam Tukacha Shakale Kirana Kulaipi. Now we'll Jnanam. Jnanam means knowledge. Yatha as Tvai in you. Vivati manifested. The knowledge which is manifested in you. Tatha, the same. Hariharadishu. It means Vishnu, Shiva, Krishna, etc. Brahma. Naikeshu in the Devas, not. In the Devas also, like your knowledge, we cannot found in the Dev also. For example, Vishnu, Shiv, etc. Dev also. Yatha, as Tejal, brilliance. Shup, in glittering gems. Mahatvam, importance. Yati, obtains. Tatha, so. Kirana kulepi, shining under the rays. Kach shakale, piece of glass. Natu, not. Asi, is. So here, Acharya Manitum, what he is trying to say in this slok? He is trying to say, O Lord, the pure, insistent, and complete knowledge that you have cannot be found in any other deity in this world. Indeed, the luster and the light of priceless gems can hardly be seen in the glass pieces glittering in a beam of light. What does the picture here illustrating? The picture here is illustrating that as compared to the light and the luster of gems like diamond, emerald, sapphire, and pearl, the glitter of ordinary glass piece appears dull. Similarly, common deities lose their importance in front of Bhagwan Rishabh Dev, who has the aura of omniscience. Because Lord Rishabh has a very strong aura, normal person cannot stand in front of the Lord Rishabh. So here Acharya Manitum in the next slok, in the 20th slok, he is trying to say that illumination of knowledge which dwells in the Lord Rishabh is unparalleled and seen in anyone. We cannot see this type of knowledge in anyone because Lord can see the past. Lord can see the future. Present everyone can see. But what's happening outside of your house? No one can see. But Lord, you have the extraordinary knowledge. You have attained this illumination as a result of your uh, from your spiritual practice. That's why knowledge did not find any appropriate place to stay other than you. You have given place, knowledge or knowledge itself a search for you. Acharya Manitum continues, Lord, the illumination of knowledge you have is not possessed by others. The validation of my statement is that the philosophy of soul. You have come to know what is soul. How can I make my soul purer? And if you have come to know about your soul, then you are having the great knowledge. People are doing a lot of the knowledge. They are doing different type of skills, different types, a lot of the things. But if the person does not know anything about the soul, it means that they don't know, they are having not the knowledge of the soul also. So here Acharya Manitum is saying Lord Rishabh was the founder and the first person to propagate Atmavad. He gave the theory of soul to the people that come to know to the soul and how to make your soul more purer and purer. He revealed the existence of soul and explained its relevance and importance. So here Acharya Manitung is saying, in my perspective, succeeding philosophers also spoke about soul. You can see there are a lot of the philosophers who have spoken about the soul, but not like you. Some considered the soul to be omnipresent, while others have accepted the soul as a size of the thumb. These beliefs are not logical, and the reason behind their false assumptions is that they do not possess the enlightenment that the Lord possesses. Because Lord is omnipresent and He can see everything. He has Keval Gyani. Keval Gyan means that type of knowledge who can tell us about of our many birds, that what were we in the past, and many words they can tell. So Lord Rishabh is having the vast knowledge. That's why The other philosophers cannot speak properly about the soul, but you can speak. Now, the second example he given, the second validation is Lord Rishabh has advocated the soul to be the only doer of the karma, because the soul, in the soul only, the soul is getting attracted with the karma only. So, our own soul is the creator of our happiness and misery. Some people think that he is making me unhappy, he is making me happy. No, no one is making us happy or unhappy. Itself, our soul, what karmas we have done, that only making us happy and unhappy. If we are hurting others, the one day we will get hurt. If we are not talking properly to others, one day we will get the same. So whatever you give, you will come back to you. So no other philosophy states that happiness and misery are a consequence of self creation. We created it by self. So many other philosophers have said the different viewpoints. So Acharya Manitu did not find either of the philosophies logical. It is difficult to find any philosophy from its beginning to its end. Such connection is possible only when there is omniscience or realization of the soul. If we come to know what is soul, how can I make my soul more purer and purer? Then only we can come to the conclusion that who is giving us happiness and who is giving us unhappiness. Once upon a time, three members of a family, husband, son, and a brother, were caught in a criminal case. Those days, legal proceedings were not as organized as today. Judgments was made quickly and impulsively by the king. In this case, the king announced punishment of death. Just then a woman entered the court, wailing on the top of her voice, and she said, "A river is bare without water, and a nation is bare without a king." Similarly, a woman, despite having 10 brothers, is bare and incomplete without her husband. Hearing the woman's talk about being bare, the king mistook and gave her some clothes and tell her to go away. Now the woman said, "King, once I become a widow, no clothes can cover me." King became compassionate and said, "I grant you to ask me to save any one of the three here, to whom you can save." The woman contemplated and answered, "I could have asked to save my husband's life, but the truth is that I can remarry again. I don't need it. I can ask to save my son's life too, but then if I remarry, I can have another son. Instead, O king, please save my brother, as my brother is no more and I can never have another brother." Now, that is the biggest contradictions the king could have come across. On one hand, she was claiming that without her husband, she is bare, despite having brothers, and she is advocating, saying her brothers saving her brother's life. This is how life is. We are faced with multiple contradictions in a day-to-day life, which are beyond our imaginations. Contradictions are even found in literary works of Kalidas also. However, the one who attains omniscience and self-realization is free from all contradiction. So if you are want to free from all contradiction, free from all difficulties, the best thing Acharya Manitung said, that know yourself. If we will know ourselves, we can learn a lot of the things and there will be no problem in our life, and we can attain the moksha also. So Acharya Maniton says, "Lord, your true knowledge is unparalleled. You have propounded the soul, explained the soul as a door, and also discussed the eternity of the soul. Soul never dies. It only transforms one body. Some from one body at birth to another body. You see, today we are human beings. It is said that we are so lucky that we are born human beings. And the biggest thing is that we got the Jain Dharam. And the more biggest thing is that we are listening to the words of Lord Mahavira. There are a lot of the people in this world who doesn't know about Jainism, who doesn't know what is the soul? They don't know. So sometimes we are born as a pig, sometimes like a dog, sometimes animal, sometimes tree, but we are so lucky that in this era, in this birth, we are born as a human being. So how much utility we can do, how much good use we can do from this body. So therefore one can be called mortal as well as the immortal. The philosophy of non-absolutism, that we call it anekantvad. So accepts the origination, detection and persistence. So both mortality and immortality are accepted in relative terms. So Acharya Manitung says one philosophy believes substance is momentary, whereas another philosophy regards substance to be absolutely eternal. You considered substance neither absolutely eternal nor absolutely momentary. So, according to you, substance is both eternal as well as non eternal. So, here Acharya Manitung is trying to say that illumination of the knowledge is that is seen in you is not visible in anyone else. I cannot see in anyone else. So he had neither the intention of sidelining anybody nor saying this based on the faith or hatred. He said this after examining the right knowledge that can stand the test of reality. It's seen from the right perspective. Acharya Manitung is not defaming anyone. He's not insulting anyone in front of his Lord. He is just stating his own viewpoint. So when you weigh the knowledge of the Lord against others, you will see that only Lord is omniscient. Glass also shines when it come contact with sun rays, but the radiance or luster we see in jewels is not found in any kind of glass. So this shlok is reflecting the experience that I found enlightenment only at the omniscient soul. So Acharya Manitung is explaining to the world a philosophy of anekantvad, which him seems to be holistic. So Acharya Manitung in these two sloks, in 19th and 20th sloks, he is trying to appreciate knowledge and its illumination. It is essential to follow spiritual practices of enlightenment for the development of knowledge. So it is said that, so there is a story that knowledge is also important, but what type of knowledge? You see, Lord is having the very pure knowledge. So the benefits of this knowledge is illuminates the knowledge, increases our intelligence. If someone is thinking that our intelligence is less, they can try this 20th slope and make experts in different fields. See, the most important thing of is that the group of 9 slopes from 12 to 20, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. These 9 slopes are the most important slopes. Mantras are integrated in every slok of Bhaktambar, but these 9 sloks are very powerful from the perspective of development of knowledge. If we want to increase our knowledge, you can choose any slok from 12 to 20. So the spontaneous flow of the rare treasure of knowledge can be released by the spiritual practice of these sloks. So increase of our intelligence. Intelligence is also important, but sometimes intelligence becomes a dangerous also. So dangerous intelligence also become. So one logicians were there, went to purchase some flour from a miller. The miller asked him to wait. Kindly wait for a few minutes. I am just grinding it. Okay. The logician noticed that the miller kept an ox for turning the milestone. That ox would walk in a circle, the yoke became attached to the stone, and thus the grains would be ground up. The ox had a nice bell tied around its neck also, which changed as he walked. The miller was in the meantime in his house doing other things. After a few moments, he returned, gathered some fresh ground flour into a sack, and gave it to the logician because he was a great logician. So the logician asks now the question, I have one question for you. Please, can you reply my question? He said, okay, ask me the question. A question for me. I'm simply a farmer. What do I know of your scholarly questions? This man replied, the farmer replied, no. This is a question about your line of work only. Tell me why you are wasting money to this ox and all, why you are doing this all things. And now this man said, the farmer said, oh, that way I can do other things. When he walks, I hear the bell. If I hear no bell, I come out and give him a whack to start him walking again. Otherwise, I would be standing here all day just looking after this ox. And I cannot do other work. That's why just I put a bell on his neck. The logician said, but what if the ox stands still and just shakes his head so that the bell rings? How would you know if he was working or not? Now, what's the reply of the man farmer? Oh, that's not no problem because that animal is not a logician like you. Because animal neither puts the logic. Whatever the master says, he does. Whenever he will move, the bell will ring. But the farmer gave a very beautiful reply that no problem because that animal is not a logician like you. See, logic is very good. So it is said that too much intelligence is sometimes dangerous because it is used to think how to avoid work. This makes a person lazy. Hence, it is important you use the intelligence in the right direction. So, from this story, we can also learn that see, devotion is important, only logic is not important. So, in Jainism, some kids are there, they will always ask the logic. It's good to ask the logic, but sometimes we must have the full faith and devotion in the words of the Lord Rishabh, in the words of the Lord Mahavira. So, in this way, we have discussed today the 19th and the 20th slok. Om Araham. And I hope every one of you understood. Now, if you have any questions, you all can ask me. Okay, Siddharth, you can.
हाँ जी रमी जी एक बार मैं रिकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप कर देता हूँ